Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today, I have a 5v5 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxys map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off for Team 1 in the Northeast, and with Team 2 in the Southwest. Starting off with Team 1's Stitch Blue player of a Jukebox Hero, going first land as a UEF. He is a 1400 to his east in Tropical Ocean Blue. Is the highest rated player on Team 1. He is Dwen? Don't know how to say that. He's going first land as a Cybern. He is a 2100. I may call him just J for short. To his northeast, another Cybern for Team 1 is Will Bort, going first land as a Cybern as well. He is a 1600 in Chevy Crimson. Moving on counterclockwise here to the northwest is Starchasm NYX, going first land as another Cybern for Team 1. He is a 1700 in Royal Purple. And last but not least here for Team 1 in orange, the color orange, is Pempu, going first land as a Seraphim. He is a 1200. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 3 Cyberns, a UEF, and a Seraphim, which means Team 1 lacks Aeon technology. Starting up with Team 2's Ruby Red player and working our way clockwise around the map, we have Legend Lore 2 going first land as a UEF. He is a 1500. To his northwest, we have in glow in the dark green Beaver Warrior 1337 going first land as an Aeon. He is a 1700. And Batman Gray here in the middle here is Ivan Gorsnich. I think I call him Ivan for short. He's going first air as a Cybern, as a 1000 rated player. To his north in Rust, we have Carl going first land, second air as a Cybern. He is a 1400. And last but not least for Team 2 in Imperial Gray is the 2300 rated player of Lil Sid Little, going as the Cybern faction, as again a 2300, the highest rated player on Team 2 and in the game overall. So for Team 2 side of the map, they also have 3 Cyberns and 1 UEF, but they have swapped out their Seraphim for an Aeon, which means that they don't have Seraphim technology on Team 2. Team 1 does not have Aeon technology. And for 10 players on the map, let's take a look at how much reclaim they have to scoop up. Currently sitting at 32,000 reclaim, which means it's almost 3.3k mass per player to scoop up. And with that as well, let's take a look at the mass point locations here that our players are probably going to be interested in. There's a quad mechs down here, as well as a trimex there, and another trimex. Calling that a trimex there for now. We do see that there is another, it's not really a dual mech position. These ones are kind of just all over the place, so I don't think there's realistically any sort of one way or the other mechs is there in terms of grouping. There are 2 mechs in the middle line right here for Team 1's most likely Jukebox and Carl are going to fight over. Besides that, there's really nothing else in the middle of the map. This map is dotted with a lot of mountains, so air or anti-air is going to be very important, and you can easily just traverse the map, especially along the edges of the map where most of it is mountainous, and over the middle as well. We probably will see some radar installations, some AA emplacements along this middle mountain range. What area? I don't even know what you would call that grouping of mountains. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead to see where our players are off to in this game. It looks like it's going to be 2v1 in the north, most likely here, in favor of Team 2, and a 2v2 in the southeast here for both of these players on Team 1, being Jay and Wilbert versus Lil Sid Little and Legend Lore 2. There's a couple of transports outbound from Team 1, one from the rear slot of Starchasm, and one from Jay, going out to get as much reclaim as they can and try to establish frontline positions. We see another transport out from Team 2 side of the map, outbound from Beer, going after some reclaim as well to be able to again start jump-starting his eco and getting his upgrades up and running. We do see that nobody has taken this path through the middle. You can see it's going to be very difficult to get through this. A little narrow neck of land to be able to, really traverse to the other side of the map easily. And that's going to really force all the land engagements to be on the northwestern corner and the southeastern corner. This has a little bit more of leeway in terms of how much room units have to move around. Up here to the north, it's definitely worse, but it's a lot better than where it is right here. Essentially, there's 2 choke points right here and here. Definitely not a good point to be in when moving units to one side of the map or the other. At least up there, it's 1 instead of 2, so it's not as bad. But it's going to be a lot of trying to vie for the control of the middle, or just sitting outside the middle and just, you know, using it as a kill box. That also works too. And I'm going to speed it up just ever so slightly. It's taking a little bit longer for our players to get out and expand out and start throwing plasma at one another. There was a drop outbound from Starchasm trying to go after this grouping of engineers to the south, trying to deny it here for Legend Lore, but T1 PD has been built and will deny that little lab that's still sitting there. There is a nice little snoop nearby, which is just peppering that lab with a couple of shots. Nothing too worried about that for that lab, but all that has to happen is a nice little striker comes by and that thing is done and dusted. We do see that Team 1's Jukebox here has pushed through the middle of the map in the northwest and now starting to crash on top of Carl's position, but it does look like Jukebox is going to hold back here a little bit, go for his own land facilities because he's going to be outnumbered very quickly, especially with Ivan coming over here to the west just to begin to reclaim and get his Mechs' expansions as well as going for a couple more land facilities to pump out some either engineers or some some Mantis, or both, to be able to assist this teammate of Carl. But we do see Team 1's Pempu going to move in and assist this western side as well, the northwest side of the map. So it is going to end up being a 2v2, which by the time these two players do engage one another, these 2 other players on both teams will be close enough to be able to assist one way or the other. And we do see that Team 1 Starchasm is actually moving in southward to assist the southeastern front. So the only player that has not left their main base is Team 2's Bear Warrior, going for a T2 air facility right now. He might be trying to just blitz down T3 air technology, which is definitely a strategy considering the fact that the air is going to be very useful for just getting around the map. There's not as much land available to put some AA units down, which means it's a lot easier to move around. The only downside is, of course, is that your opponent can do the exact same thing. And radar installations are on the other side of the map here for this mountainside. And there's actually one in here. It looks like there was a facility possibly going to be started, but either was denied or wasn't enough room to do much of anything else. But I do like that there's just a little bit of land to put a nice little radar station there. And it's nice to have backups. We do see that Team 1 not, again, ignoring this little narrow neck of land. Hasn't even gone after these 3 Mechs over here. Team 2 just walled it off and went, nah, it's fine. We're not going to worry about it. It's not really worth the engagement anyway. Gun upgrades have been started for a couple of players in this game, as well as a T2 upgrade for Jay. So next to him, we have Wilbert going for a gun speed and range, gun damage and range here for Jukebox. We do see gun speed and range coming online here for Carl here pretty shortly. If Carl does send that upgraded comm in, he may be able to deny Jukebox. He's sitting at almost 40%. It looks like he will engage. Team 2's Ivan is actually going to come and assist as well now that he has a couple of facilities online over there to the western edge. T2 coming online here for Legend Lore. He's actually down here. I kind of expected him to be sitting right here, but that puts him a little bit further back, and I'd say a little bit out of position considering this is where a lot of Team 1's comms are right here. It's going to be a little bit of travel time to get there. He's missing out on a couple of Mechs, which looks like they're going to Little Sid Little. Little Sid Little is sitting over here a little bit further back as well. So both of these players on Team 2 not going as far forward as they possibly could, which may work to their favor, may not work to their favor. We'll just have to see if it does one way or the other. It does look like in the northwest, Jukebox has been forced back, unable to build that gun upgrade. Carl going to deal with the land facilities and mixes that he built, and we do see Ivan coming in to again offer his assistance as well. We do see that Pempu did not move into the northwest where I thought he was going to go, and has instead gone after these 3 Mechs over here on that plateau. Not plateau, but I guess that section of the map. I guess you could call it a plateau, but most of this map is on the upper level. At least that's what it kind of looks like. A decent amount of it's on the upper level. There's a decent amount on the lower level, but again, it's kind of hard to tell with the map generator how it, essentially made all this kind of look like it's the same level, but it's definitely not. But does that really matter at this point? Probably not. T2 almost online here for Jay, and his teammate of Robert is pushing forward. Units moving in from Little to assist defenses in the south. We do see Legend Lore 2 getting some PD online. And realistically, this environment is mostly flat down here, which means it's a little bit hilly, but not by much, which means these triads will have great line of sight onto the incoming targets that they're going to see here pretty shortly. Those mechs that have been built by Little Sid Little have been destroyed, but again, it's looking like it's going to be possibly a nice little pincer maneuver happening with the main force of Legend Lore being the main distraction, and then the calm of Little Sid Little sitting over here. But of course, he has to watch out for Sarcasm and Jay moving in to assist as well. And looks like those forces outbound from Rowboat go, okay, that's not worth it. Going to move back and deal with him later. Junkbox Zero has fallen back and is going for his gun upgrade again as we speak. Will that finish? We'll have to see. Interceptor sitting on the ground. Never the best idea, especially with an enemy comm nearby. T2 is online, and Beer Warrior going to reclaim all of his P-gens with a little bit more mass. And then, of course, he's going for his other T2 P-gen, and then going to go for T3 air facilities. Team 1, we see 2 T2 air facilities online. One almost up to T3 and the other one on its way to T3. So 2 players on Team 1 have gone for air. Only one of them on Team 2 has gone for air. Will that benefit Team 1 a little bit more? We'll have to see. They are losing territory in the north. They have a decent amount of territory in the southeast. They are currently being bombarded by missiles outbound from Little Sid Little, which will slowly force them back. Shield creep has been started here by Team 1. Getting some more fire bases and layered defenses online. And we do see that again, a little bit more PD creep outbound from Legend Lore 2. He needs a P-gen apparently. And he's like, I'll just build it right next to me. I just need it temporarily. It's not a huge issue. He might be down just a little bit. Yeah, he's kind of struggling on power. So he just wants a little bit more to be able to have a nice little buffer just in case he needs it. And of course he wants his overcharge as well, which means he wants to regen up that energy reserve as fast as possible. We see a large influx of Team 1 units for Junkbox Hero going to the northern section. And it looks like those forces from Carl will move in to intercept, and as well as Ivan is nearby hanging out. He probably should go for some sort of either T2 or gun. I think in his position, if he's staying a little bit further back, go for T2, get some tickle cannons, get some shields, and get something online to assist his teammate. Carl on the front lines. I stopped there for a second because I had to sneeze. And it was one of those sneezes where it's really hard to talk because it's just building up in your nose. Stealth is completed for Robert's command, going for a nano. He's surrounded by a ton of T1 pseudo-engineer Mantis. They have the partial engineering suite on board. And they can do, they can do assisting and repairing. They cannot do reclaim, which would make them invaluable. Having an engineer essentially that has a gun on it at T1 would be amazing. But the developers were like, that's a little too OP, so we're not going to do that. But repair and assist is not too bad. Legend Lore 2 getting a nice little radar installation and then going for some T2 artillery to try to force back Team 1. Nano repair will finish. A couple of missiles coming in, getting a couple of double kills in the mix. And Robert will move. He does have nano repair. Will he just walk forward? He's going to get a little bit out of that ring of Mantis. We do see T2 air is online on the front lines here for Jay, going for some transports. Very interesting. I wonder if he's going to ferry units behind enemy lines. We are seeing some interceptors and ASF sit here for Sarcasm as well. So he might be assisting with that transport play. Something about servers, says Legend Lore 2. Looks like he's having some connection issues given the fact that Beer Warrior has said something. I see Jay is also behind, so it looks like there's some connection issues going on right now. And then Jay's like, I only see you. So we'll just have to see what happens. We might see a departure from Legend Lore 2. That'd be definitely disappointing for him at least. It does happen. Connection issues are a thing. This game is not 100% perfect in that regard. And it is obviously unfortunate, but it does happen. It's bad connection between me and Jay. Yeah, that's what it is. Maybe Icebug. We do see in the northwest, Carl's being forced back by a decent amount of T1 units. And realistically, I don't see any reason, not necessarily why, but there's a lot of T1 bombers outbound here for Ivan as well. So this will force back the land army here from Jukebox. He does also have Nano on board. He's not being peppered from the sky. Some ASFs have diverted from their grouping over here to the southeast to deal with those bombers to the northwest. And Robert's still pushing against Legend Lore 2. He's getting more PD. He's trying to, again, slowly encroach on that commander. And Legend Lore 2 is like, okay, stop moving closer. Stay back. Overcharge able to at least pierce the shields at least a little bit. One of the two artilleries is online. He's building more and more PD and more defenses. Wants to, again, dissuade any sort of missile launcher nonsense with that little buzzkill. Little looks like he's actually falling back now. Doesn't want to get sniped. It's probably a little bit too early to be sniped. It's 14, almost 14 and a half minutes. But he's being overly cautious, but which is not necessarily a bad thing. It could be, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. Looks like there was some units outbound from somebody on Team 1, and they got killed off by that brick. Again, no land incursions as of yet through the middle. Team 1's Jukebox here being pushed back by some T2 units and Carl's commander sitting at 2-star veterancy. He is in the yellow, though. Jukebox could try to blitz him down, and he has gun and nano, and Carl only has gun. He does have he's at 2-star veterancy, for 20% more additional hit points, putting him at least at the base hit points that was Jukebox, but it's not really the case anymore. We do see in the east, Robert still holding position. The shield is down. Legend Lord trying to force back Team 1, but it's just getting stopped ever so slightly. He is not lagging. I see Legend. It's not lag. It's connection issues. At least he thinks so. So yeah, they're constantly talking about connection issues. So again, we might see a departure. That's pretty much that's the main conversation. They're not talking about strategy or anything else. Just, hey, it's a bad connection. Which, like I said, does happen. Ollie, but doubt it gets better, says Legend. So we might see him depart, and that's why Legend's just going to look like he's just going to march forward and maybe try to go after Robert, go up in style. T3 land is online for Jay. He has his air facility up here. Has a couple of T3 lands as well. And Robert is going to be like, no, don't get closer. No, I know what you're doing. Get back. No, get away from me. Get away from me. And Legend Lord is just going to commit to this. So he's going to, again, like I said, go up in a blaze of glory, trying to fix the connection issues for his teammates and his opponents as well, because it's not fun to just be in a laggy game. If it is, we feel like it wouldn't get any better like this. Now here we go. Team 2 will lose their first player of the game at 16 minutes due to a self-sacrifice of Legend Lord 2 for the sake of the connection of these players, and is now a 5v4 in favor of Team 1, with, I'm assuming, Lotus Little gaining control of the base that Legend Lord once had. He probably won't give that over to anybody. He'll keep that for himself. He might give a couple of mexes over to possibly somebody else on Team 2, but at least as of right now, he's going to keep everything for himself and scale his defenses and eco up quite nicely. We haven't been seeing as much of air as I would assume that we would, given the fact that this, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of avenues of attack for transports on the edge of the map or bombers on the edge of the map, kind of getting in around, because there's no, AA defenses anywhere. You could get some transports in, drop them over here, kill off all the mexes. You could try to go after the air grid, something like that, because there's not really a lot of air defenses online as well, or air, just air units in general. Just kind of surprised to not see more of an emphasis on using the air rather than just building air and calling it a day. Stealth coming online here for Carl's commander in the northwest. He is now secured at least most of that middle passway. Jukebox Hero still online as his first veterancy and will hold position for the time being. We see that the comm of Starchasm is going to retreat, go back to base, and again help just scale his air grid and not actually get sniped too. That's another thing. Does look like there was a brick that tried to make it past Team 1's forces, but gets stopped. Looks like it killed off a T2 Mechs, given the, it's a T2 Mechs, given the amount of reclaim there, which is, 6 masks a second. It's better than nothing, but it's going to take a while to recoup the loss of a 800 brick essentially. We do see bricks holding the line against other bricks in the south. Mobile missile launchers also adding to the firepower here. T3 land headquarters very far forward here for Little. It cuts down the travel time, but it also puts it very far forward in a not great place, considering the fact it can easily be wiped out by a decent sized force. We do see that Robert trying to pierce the defenses that once were built by Legend Lord 2, now under the control of Little. T3 air grid being slowly expanded here by Bear Warrior in the west. And we now see that Ivan has started to retreat from the front lines and fall back, just in fears of any sort of snipes. The only comms realistically on the front line now are Carl in the northwest, Robert in the southeast, accompanied by Jay next to him, and he's sitting in underneath some shields. And again, he has a couple of air facilities and land facilities he's pumping up to just get, I guess, build power, and they're going for bricks now. And a couple of forces try to just lap away all of those defenses here for Little Sid Little, but they get stopped by incoming forces from him as well. We have Omni Sensor online here for Beer Warrior. This one could be upgraded to the T3, but I think Jay is holding off for the time being. And with 2 T3 air headquarters online for Team 1, I'm definitely surprised not to see even more air online. Looks like they're starting to be a little bit more bold with their air, pumping out some whalers to go after supply lines here for Carl, cutting off any sort of reinforcements for the time being. ASF's immediately called to this for Beer Warrior, but I don't think he has enough to contend against the ASF's from Team 1's Sarcasm. At this point, either you send the ASFs in and you kill off the gunships and you lose air, or you wait and you don't have enough ASFs and you lose the base for Ivan. So it's kind of a catch-22 scenario. You either lose air or you lose a base. And I think in his opinion, I think losing air is a little bit worse, but ASF fight will happen anyways. A couple of ASFs from Team 1 distracted by a couple of bombers. This will not be enough to sway things entirely in Team 2's favor, but it will give them a little bit more oomph. And of course, they're going to go after the whalers. A couple of mexes are now offline here for Carl, so he's losing mass per second, 18 mass a second. And that does make a difference as time goes on. Of course, whalers trying to retreat. ASFs are chasing them down. Team 2 barely has air control for a little bit. Jukebox Hero underneath this engagement going like, okay, please don't notice me, please don't notice me, please don't notice me. And a couple of transports also taken out as well. But again, we have 2 players on Team 1 pumping out ASFs, which means Team 1 can outproduce Team 2 unless Team 2 gets a massively bigger air grid, which I don't see that being the case as of right now. We see that a secondary bigger air grid is coming online for Sarcasm as we speak. And we do see that the push on the southern side for Jay is getting into the T3 land headquarters base for Little Sid Little. Little Sid sitting at 360 mass a second. Steaming of Beer at 300. Team 1 Sarcasm most per second at 250. Followed closely behind Jay at almost 200. But Team 1 is behind about 100 mass per second more than Team 2 at 21 minutes on the clock. And for the game overall, the only casualty has been Legend Lord 2. Not because, I mean, it was a kill technically, but it was more of the game isn't really going great for anybody. And the Legend Lord was like, well, I'll try to leave and fix it that way. And I haven't heard any complaints or seen any complaints in chat as of yet after he died. But it is definitely unfortunate to lose a player like that. So shout out to Legend Lord 2 for taking the sacrifice play and trying to help out his fellow players in having a better experience playing this very, very wonderful game that we all love. And again, if you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching to this point in the video. And let's go ahead and see what's going on with this attack in the south that we were just barely looking at a second ago. More bricks pushing out here for Little Sid Little against the bricks from Jay. And Jay's just pumping out those bricks, not even going for Loyalist, skipping that phase in the T3 land game. We even see that Robot is moving in to assist forces as well, but it looks like he's going to think a little bit differently and fall back again. He's kind of like will they, won't they down in the southeast. He's like, I kind of want to go for it, but I don't want to go for it, but I kind of want to go for it. The crab production has been started for Little Sid Little. He's going to build a second one after that. I don't even think he's building a monkey, so he skipped the monkey phase, going straight for the bricks. Team 1, sorry, not the bricks, the crab. Is Team 1 building any sort of experimental? No, no one on Team 1 is building experimental. It would probably be over here if it was. And this superior numbered brick force being forceful and forcing back Little Sid Little. But he's pumping out a decent amount of bricks as well. And this is just leaving a ton of mass, just kind of in no man's land. As bricks die, bricks move forward, bricks die, bricks move forward, sort of thing. Group of units down to the south here for Little Sid Little coming in to intercept the group of bricks. And have a nice little pincer maneuver going down here. And there's really not a lot of T3 units. There's no T3 units exactly. There's a couple of pillars, decent amount of mobile missile launchers, and these bricks will now chase down the bricks from Jay. We do see that Robert is still not committing one way or the other to engage or disengage. Just depends on how he feels it may go. But the only unfortunate thing is we could be getting some veterans. He does sitting at 3-star though, so I mean he's sitting at 30% more hit points. He could probably easily get up to 4, but he doesn't want to take the risk, which I don't blame him. Being overly cautious may not net you a bunch of stuff because you're not taking as much of a risk, but you know, sometimes in this game, being cautious is a little bit better than being risky, because you could be a little bit too risky and then you die because of it, or you could be a little bit too risky and you could win from it. It's, again, you're more of a flip of a coin kind of scenario. T3 coming online here for little to augment those engineering capabilities on board that comp. Besides that, no other upgrades I've seen so far. Jay only has T2. Jukebox has actually moved here to this middle section of the map. Looks like he might be launching an assault down here, the plateau section that no one is using. Looks like some not mobile, but stationary missile launchers are being built by Team 2, and some engineering suites are being built by Team 1's Jukebox. Maybe he'll build a FAF boy here. Maybe that's why he's building those drones there. More bricks pushing in here, but again, there's also engineers online for Team 2, also online for Team 1 moving in. There's a decent amount of reclaim in those T3 units, sitting at about 14,000 mass. A decent chunk of mass, and overall in the game on the map, there's 40,000. So a little bit more than what the game started with, but not by much. Usually at this point we see double or so, but very narrow land engagements and not a lot of air engagements. On top of that, there's really not a lot of reclaim for our players to scoop up. Currently sitting at 54,000 for Team 2, 74,000 for Team 1. Total master crew, Team 2 at 750, Team 1 at 730, roughly. So about a 30,000 mass more for Team 2 than Team 1. Loreless outbound here from Ivan on this northern side, assisting the T2 force outbound from his teammate of Carl. There is a wall section they'll have to chew through. And it looks like Team 1 is mounting some defenses behind said wall section to deal with that incursion. Mega 90% says Robert. Yeah, it is at 90%. And that will be a huge boon to Team 2's Little on forcing back these two commanders and their central position that they've held for essentially the entire game. I don't see any other big ticket items so far here for Team 1, or even Team 2, besides just that crab, which is about to finish. There is a Monkey Lord online here for Team 1's Robert, but that's not going to be able to face up to a Megalith unless gets in behind and sits there for a couple seconds. There is a chicken almost done here for Pempu. He's probably going to use that against this oncoming force here from Ivan and Carl. The hope I'm thinking is, I feel like I'm saying Carl with like an R at the end, but that could just be the way I'm saying it. Again, I have a really weird way of speaking, so apologies if it's hard to understand me once in a while. Crab is online and is pushing forward. Bricks are moving in. That monkey sitting a little bit behind that rock, out of view. Doesn't want to face the bigger, longer range unit of the crab. Of course, it has the low poly model of an artillery piece, which I was reminded of by a commenter a couple weeks ago that that's the device that Dr. Brackman uses to deal with the QAI in the Supreme Commander Forge Alliance campaign, which makes way more sense. That would be that big. I just haven't played that mission in a very long time, and I just don't remember it. So, shout out to you, commenter. I can't remember your name. Apologies that didn't make that reference of why that is the way that it is. It's definitely interesting that the low poly molly wasn't changed, but they're probably like, it's fine. Don't need to worry about changing it, because not a lot of people are going to zoom out of a crab that far away. Monkey Lord tries to use the environment to hide behind and close the distance, but multiple dual shots are raining into that monkey's chest, and it's already at half health. This crab is now in the yellow, but there are bricks moving in to intercept and other T2 units from the south, and that crab is gonna just weather the storm, gets a rank in veterancy, kills off the monkey, and T2 artillery hastily trying to be built to deal with said crab, but again, that's a lot of hit points to chew through. Crab is half done here for Jay as well. And he's putting everything he has and then some into the construction of said crab. That's probably the only thing that will save at least one of the two commanders. Robert is going to try to buy as much time as he can, and the bricks are just ignoring. I guess he does have stealth, but he doesn't have cloaking, so Team 2 should see him. Oh, now they see him. They're just focused on other things. And that crab continuing to push in. Crab in the green. It's going to get very close to finishing. And like I said, it might be enough to save Team 1's position here. Robert is now being walked on by said crab. And the bricks go, oh yeah, there's a comm here. And there goes the comm of Robert. He bought enough time, wasn't enough. He bought some time, wasn't enough. And that crab is now at 1,000 hit points and falling. 900, 800, 700. And that crab does finish it for Team 1's Jay. And with the destruction and the kill on Robert, Jukebox Hero also dies roughly at the same time as well. So looks like there is a land attack outbound here from Team 2. Just kind of rushed the comm. Chicken was a little bit too late to save that commander. It's now a 3v4 in favor of Team 2. So again, like I said, apologies for missing that engagement. It does net Team 1 a little bit more percentage of the mass. But again, now Team 2 has killed another player. It's, you know, one comm can make the difference between victory and defeat. And Jay has now fallen back, hiding behind his teammate of Starchasm in the south. He has a nice little strap bomber as well hanging out. ASF building looks like they might engage over the mountains. There's no AA here, so it's just going to be straight damage. Looks like the ASF are trying to pull back. One ASF takes some shots. Team 1 bombers outbound here from Beer War to go after this chicken piercing through the walls. For Team 2 is Carl. And that chicken will take some shots, but again, they are tickle cannons. There are bricks also sitting here as well. It's going to take a lot of firepower to chew through that chicken, though, with some Team 1 bombers and some tickle cannons. We see another attack outbound from Ivan, not going the north way that his teammate of Carl is, but they're going through the southern section of the north with a Monkey Lord in tow as well. I do love the mix of Loyalists and Bouncers. They're, again, a faster moving unit in terms of speed versus the brick. So there is some AA in the mix guarding those Loyalists. There's really not a lot of mobile missile launchers or stationary missile launchers, so their redirect isn't going to be that great. But it looks like now, with the forces outbound from Carl actually switching directions going south, that Strat Bomber rush coming in, not Strat Bomber, but Strat Bomber volley inbound will land a couple shots on the Monkey Lord, but there's going to be a decent amount of damage. T3 air headquarters should probably be targeted. Power should be targeted. Lines of PD are being built as fast as possible to deal with said Monkey Lord. It does do a lot of damage with the laser, though. And those engineers are being targeted, saying, no more PD for you, sir, says that Monkey Lord. And now all those bombers, now having dealt with the chicken in the middle, now turning their attention to the crab, built by Jay in the south, and just the hordes of Team 1 bombers. Again, it can take even longer to chew through those hit points, but there's more and more being added, more ASFs guarding those bombers. And another crab is online, so after they chew through one, going after the other one, Strap Bombers going after Jay's commander. Shield coverage has fallen, but the bombers have also fallen as well, so he does take a shot. He's going to rebuild that shield and be perfectly fine for the time being. The Monkey Lord was defeated. And that'll give Team 1 a little bit more mass to play with. Wilson Little builds another experimental. Is it a monkey? Yes, it is, and he's going to build a crab next. And ASF come and clean up the bombers. Another air fight, first major one of the game, I would say. And there is a little bit of AA here for Team 2, and there's a little bit of T2 AA here for Team 1. It's a little, not a lot, but it is a little bit. But Team 1 will net the advantage here. But those ASFs from Team 2 able to nip at the heels of those retreating forces for Team 1. But it looks like it's just going to be not really great for those remaining forces, essentially being reduced to tens of numbers, probably even 13 or something. 17. That was close. Team 1, are you building anything spicy in your base? It is 30 minutes on the clock. You started thinking about how to end the game. Yes, they're going to end it with artillery, at least in terms of Pempu's idea. And massive amounts of T2 mass fabricators. We'll point out there, Starchasm, that the shield does not cover all of your mass fabricators. Just wanted to point that out. Just in case a satellite or rogue artillery shot or something lands by and everything goes up in smoke. Just an idea there. Artillery has been started by Beer Warrior, the far superior T3 artillery versus the Hovatham of Team 1's Pempu. And I'm, again, a little bit biased for the Emissary. It just does tons of damage. Again, I love the UEF, but the Duke does not hold a candle to the emissary. Now, the T4 Maver, that's a different story, obviously, because it's a T4. But still. And that monkey just gets annihilated by those 3 crabs. 1 crab will die, but is now a 2v1. It's not going to go in favor of Team 2 unless he gets another crab, which he is moving in, but it's still 2v1. Bricks are moving in to try to, again, tip the scales, but now that that crab is gone, all those T3 units are going to be blitzed down. We have aggressive PD creep in the south here for Team 1's J, trying to force back the massive amounts of Lobos. And Lobos using a little bit lower section of the map to, again, hide underneath the PD so they're not targeted by it. And those Lobos are not stopping. Another crab is online here for Team 1's J. They are just producing crabs and throwing them at one another. Reclaim sitting at 170,000 for Team 1, 90,000 for Team 2. So it looks like Team 2 is donating a little bit more mass than Team 1, which is never a good thing. But in terms of mass generation, Team 2 sitting at 2,000 mass per second. Team 1, 1.4K total mass accrued, 100,000 more for Team 2. So even though Team 1 has a ton more reclaim, almost 100,000, Team 2 is ahead 100,000 in total. That is a decent amount of mass to be up per second, and it's now at 2.1. And that's mainly due to now Beer Warrior out-ecoing Lil Sid Little, sitting at 800 mass a second. He's now producing 2 emissaries, one ever so slowly. The other one, the main focus, the P-Gens, the shields, everything essentially being built at the same time. I would love to see a little bit more focus, let's say, on the P-Gens and the shields. But with the emissary almost online, I mean, you could just blitz that down and be done with it. The Hovatham for Team 1 is halfway done here, but it will not finish in time. Disruptor will probably finish before that, so Team 1's about to have 2 artilleries online versus Team 2's 1. Trap bombers moving, go after the quad P-Gen position. Down here, ASF's cleanse the air of Team 2's ASF, and now going after the bombers. 1 bomber group able to take out a crab, but there are 3 more inbound still. Team 2 has 1 crab remaining versus Team 1's 2 front and 1 in reserve. The emissary is now completed. The P-Gen is online. Stealth field generator also online to try to shield it from any sort of radar. Team 1 has no idea it's there. And of course, does Team 2 know about the dual artillery pieces? I would say no. That is a no. They do know where the comm is. A couple of the that's... I will point out that is a very dangerous place to sit, especially with Team 2 knowing where he is. That screams T2 mass fab, and that screams 1 artillery shot, and he's dead, almost. So it's just dead. Yeah, not great positioning there, but Disruptor is online here for Starchasm, and Team 2's emissary, of course, is now firing. It took a little bit to realign the artillery piece to be able to actually aim at the other side of the map. And shots are being traded across the map. I'm assuming Team 1 is targeting the air grid for Team 2. That looks like that's what it's going after. The 3 crabs are definitely a threat here for Team 2 on the southern front. Sorry, 4 crabs online. Team 2 looks like they're going to spam out T1. It'll probably be Lobos at this point. Fat part coming online. And that's not looking good here for Team 2 on the southern edge. I do like the placement of the suits there, though. Gives a ton of vision. You can see where the comm is. You can see construction. You can see pretty much everything you really needed to. So I love the placement of it. And it's still online somehow, but the crabs are more focused on just pushing into Team 2's territory. I don't know why I said pushing like that. Hovatham is online. It is now 2v1 in terms of artillery. Second one is under construction. The second one for Team 2 is also under construction, and they have just spammed out a Colossus due to the fact that there are incoming crabs. It looks like Team 1's targeting the mass fab farm up to the north, whether that's by coincidence or on purpose. Looks like it is on purpose. They still don't know about that emissary. And Team 2 still doesn't know. Oh, well, they probably do now. Excuse me. They have some spy planes overhead, so they know where the artillery is. And looks like transfer control has been given over to that artillery so that Starchasm can micro both of those. He is microing air at the same time, though, which I feel like, I mean, you can do, but it'd be probably a little bit better to have Pempu do the artillery. and then focus on the other side of the map, and then have Sarcasm focus on the air. No, just me, my little 2 cents. But it would make sense just to divvy up duties a little bit more in that regard. Artillery landing on the air grid to the north, so Team 1 Sarcasm feeling the heat from Team 2's Bear Warrior. There we go, makes way more sense. I said it that way. I'm stumbling over my words today, and I don't know why. Suits there, I will admit, is still online. How is that thing not dead yet? Is Team 1 just ignoring it? Do they know it's there? Oh, they know it's there. They're just ignoring it. That's a lot of vision that Team 2 is always getting. Seraphim Shields, please, says Sarcasm. And like I said, Team 2 is now going to start targeting that artillery emplacement, the dual artillery emplacement. Second emissary is in the red, but of course it is being side-mined by the massive amounts of colossi that are being built to hamper this just intense line of crabs inbound. We see 2 spam factories outbound from Team 2, or 2 comms going for spam factories, for Team 1 bombers just again rain them in holy fire and a bunch of units. That's essentially the goal here. 1 Colossus stands at the brink, holding position, gets destroyed. Ravager's being built as well. Fat Boy has been built as well to just defend. There are 4 crabs. I feel like Team 1 can easily just send them in at the same time, but he's going to cause them to retreat. Definitely a missed opportunity there. I know 2 of them are severely wounded and 2 of them are essentially pristine, but Team 2 does not have the defenses to really hold off this amount of firepower. There are 2 Fat Boys, I know that, but all it's going to give is give Team 2 more time. Artillery has been targeted by Team 1, and the shield barely holding. They know where it is. Oh, that shot lands barely south. Second artillery shot will land south as well. Engineers building another PGen. They need more shields. They're building more as we speak. Stealth fuel generator is now offline. T1 bombers still coming in. Try to forcibly, essentially, either go after the crabs or just cause them to retreat. This crab is now in the red. Just the slow trickle of incoming bombers is just enough to keep it, being negative in hit points per second versus being positive. There from shields, augmenting the Cybern ones as well. And that second artillery for Sarcasm is online. Third one coming online as well. There's still only 1 emissary for Team 2. And it looks like, barely misses that mass fat form over there. The artillery here for Team 2 is about to go down. Shields are falling, and there it goes. Good thing I was able to capture it at the last moment. Team 2 has now lost their one and only artillery. And they have a nuke online, and it's almost loaded. Does Team 1 have adequate SMD coverage? SMD right there. It is loaded. There are 3 of them, almost 4 loaded. Crabs now way out of position in the south. 2 Fat Boys able to just blitz down a crab. This is mainly engineers from Sarcasm and mainly bricks and a couple of AA and Deceiver units for Team 1's J. We do see now artillery landing at Carl's position. He's going for laser. He has teleport online. He started a disruptor and goes, that's not really worth it. And he needs to build that and get out of range of those PGens. It's not going to feel good. And there it is. He is online with Telemazer. And we see some air scouts, actually biplanes moving in to get some intel gathering operations online. You get an idea of what Team 2 is doing. Crab starting to just turn around. This one looks like it's going to just keep going. Those Fat Boys now being forced back by 5 crabs. It is 3 Fat Boys, 1 Colossus versus 5 crabs in the south. And again, Team 1 has 3 artillery pieces, almost 4. 3 of them being built by Sarcasm himself and 1 being built by Pempu. And it's just artillery, artillery, artillery for Team 2. Nuke is being targeted. You got to fire the nuke. You got to fire it. It is loaded. You got to fire it. It's not going to be worth it if it stays housed in its silo. Oh, no! Oh, that's got to hurt. Ooh, that's got to hurt. Okay, well, Team 2 is losing eco quite quickly. Team 1 is catching up. 1.6 versus 1.4. There's a lot of spam outbound here in the south. A lot of T2, looks like AA, and a lot of engineers. Artillery is being built to counter the Fat Boys. Crabs still out of position in the south, though. They probably could have ended this game, when those 3 or 4 crabs were just sitting there. They could have sent them in and dealt tons of damage to Little. Strap bombers being built up here for Team 2's Ivan. The comm of Jay is still here, and he has his own artillery piece over here as well. So there are 5 artillery pieces online for Team 1. And Carl is defeated by Pempu due to some PD emplacements down here. And Starchasm was almost killed off, but he's still alive. And it is now a 3v3 tied-up game here at 40 minutes. Artillery raining in on these mass fabs for Team 2's Beer Warrior. He doesn't really have a lot of eco remaining. He's getting another emissary online. And those strap bombers are building up. Team 1 just trying to just burn those megaliths down. One of them does fall. This one should be targeted first, though, because it's the weaker of the 3. But it's just, again, now thousands of hit points per second being lost for that crab. Team 1's ASF, where are they? Some of them are moving in to deal with this, and some flag moving in as well. That actually would have been a little bit easier to move and get in position and keep there. It looks like that crab is going to fall. That crab also is going to fall. That's going to be 2 more crabs that Team 1 has lost. But again, they've transitioned in the T3 artillery stage. There are 2 artillery pieces. The 3rd one is under construction down here in the south. So that gives Team 1 2 plus 3 plus 1. That's 6 artillery pieces online. That should shoot through essentially any shielding that Team 2 has remaining. And that air grid is going to go up in smoke. It's not going to feel good here for Team 2's Beer Warrior. Going to lose everything he has. Little getting more shielding, but I don't think it's going to be enough to protect himself. And the ASF sitting here, again, not the best idea. Very rare do I see Galactic Colossus grab air units like that. I mean, transports I do see a decent amount, just because they sit there normally anyways. But ASF and spy planes and all that, I rarely see them being grabbed, unless it's just kind of a few of them are sitting there waiting to be given orders. Another artillery is going to be built here by Starchasm, just really pumping out the artillery. He lost his air grid and didn't really expand. He has a couple more ASF producing facilities, but not really a whole lot. Does have another position to build another artillery piece. But again, with the amount that Team 1 has online, unless Team 2 can assassinate the rest of the commanders, that might just be game here. I know the game goes on for a little bit longer than this, so we'll just, again, keep with it to see what Team 2 and Team 1 ends up doing. But there are a couple more comms on Team 2 that are Cybrid, which means they can go for Telemazer. But it's just the process of the fact you have to get the upgrades and then teleport over there and all that stuff. And underneath all of this artillery bombardment, it's going to be a tall order. But there is a decent amount of mass down here. The crabs are being routed. 1, 2, 3, 4 Fat Boys, 2 Colossus facing down 3 crabs. They're in full retreat. Team 1 cannot mount an adequate defense. They're building more artillery back here. They're trying to prevent the incursion of the experimentals for those pieces of artillery. But of course, Team 1 still has 4, soon to be 5 up here. We're seeing an incursion to the middle here from Team 2's Little just attack from a different avenue. And we do see a decent amount of PD up here, just not really a lot of units. Threat Bomber is constantly being pumped out here for Team 2's Ivan. I just don't know where he's going to go with them, because the air grid is mainly down here for, Beer Warrior. The artillery is almost online, but he's got to move those in sooner rather than later. Looks like the strap bombs are moving. No, still not. Oh, looks like the personal radar stealth is online, and the comm of Little is being targeted by artillery. He needs to get out of there. SMD about to fall. ASF's taking a little bit of the shots. Oh, he would have been hit from that one. I think he got a little bit of splash, but looks like he's fine. Well, he's not fine, but he's getting out of there. He's in the red now. Strap bombers are moving in, and I kind of want to watch both of this. If Little dies, it is due to artillery. Strap bombers are moving in. I wonder if they're going for Jay's commander, and it looks like, where is Jay's commander? Did he finally move it? No, he didn't. There it is. Strap bombers are inbound. He's not moving. He needs to get underneath more shield coverage. And there is some shield coverage. There's not a lot, but that's a lot of bombs to dodge. That is a kill here for Team 2. Most of those bombers do get annihilated in the blast. But that is another player dead here for Team 1. It is now a 3v2 in favor of Team 2. And GG says, yeah, yep, it was a great game here by him. And I love when players shout out that, saying, hey, even though I died, I still enjoyed the game. Looks like I said, with the departure of Legend Lord, it fixed the connection issues. They just haven't mentioned it anymore. two of the three commanders underneath one shield, assisting it as much as they can. Artillery is in the green. But again, a lot of artillery raining down on Team 2's position. Most boring game I've ever played, says Carl. Probably talking about all the artillery. And there are two more still down here. Looks like they have to be transferred over, so they have to be realigned. Which, I don't really like that because, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's like a game mechanic or something. It probably is. But it just resets to positions. Like when the satellites for the Novaxes get transferred over, the satellite falls to the ground and crashes, then you have to rebuild it and remove it to the other side of the map and whatnot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 artillery pieces online here for Starchasm, sitting underneath a decent amount of shield coverage. Teleporter has been started by Little Said Little. Does he have laser? No. He's just pumping out what he can. We do see that the Fat Boys are in full retreat due to the artillery lines, I'm assuming, that Team 1 has been building and has built. And I think at this stage in the game, I'm going to speed it up because it looks like it's really only favoring one way. I would just do +2. I think +2 is a little bit too fast. We haven't seen any sort of attack vector from the north here for Team 2 in some time. All of the main bases here for Team 2 are just picked and clean, you know, picked apart. There's really nothing left here. Mass incomes actually are, well, I was going to say they're about the same. Team 1 is now in the lead at 1.5 versus 1.1. And Emissary is almost done. I don't know if this is going to be enough, though. Again, like I said, there are 7 artillery pieces online. Laser has been started by Starchasm, so he's going to prevent any sort of teleportation nonsense. Liberator is being loaded as we speak, because why not? Why not spend your mass on something else? He's sitting at 1.1k mass income. He's probably not even spending it all. No, he's not even spending it all. He's still loading his mass bar up. Look at that, 63,000 mass and climbing. I love how there's just a T3 Omni in the middle of these Fat Boys just hanging out. And that Emissary, oh, it's gonna get finished possibly. We'll just have to see. 47 minutes on the clock. Laser is done. Starting guns is Little Said Little. The gun is done. He's going to teleport out of there and try to go for something. It's not going to work, though, because Team 1's Starchasm is going for his laser, which he does have, and he's cloaked as well. Team 2, there's no way they can spot him unless they have some spy planes overhead, which would have to be, you know, very lucky with that. Gunship Horde is inbound. ASF cleaning the skies up. Little Said Little is teleporting out of there. Where is he going? He's going here, just trying to get out of range. There he goes. Nice gap, says Carl, talking about what usually happens in gap matches. But the PD, ooh, let's see, are the PD in range of that? The T1s are and the T2s are. This is going to be a very quick kill here for Team 1. There it goes. Lasers blitz down most of the hit points, and then another barrage. That's it. There he goes. Little Said Little is out of the game. 48 minutes, and is now Beer Warrior left standing. Actually, no, Beer Warrior and Ivan. And Beer Warrior control case. His Emissary was just built, ready to fire, and Ivan is the sole survivor, or remaining player, I should say, of Team 2. And that artillery is just oppressive in this game. And Nuke is outbound and pausing, unpausing. That's actually an outbound from Team 2 over here to the west for Ivan. That is going to get shot down. Unfortunately, there is an SMD. Oh, no, it's going to drop short. Just go after something. Boom. Kills off a decent amount of stuff, though. Killed off 42,000 mass, but like I said, the game is pretty much over at this point. With the massive amount of artillery online, there's really not a whole lot that Team 2 can do. They can't really break through the defenses to go after artillery because it's a long walk over there. And just Ivan's bases are being ripped apart every which, you know, position that he had. Nuke is being loaded very quickly, to be fair, though. Another Nuke is outbound, this time from the Liberator. Team 1 Nuke. And, well, to be fair, the Team 2 also has a Liberator, but it's going after this. They lead the target. I think he led the target quite well. He's going to get at least one of the Fat Boys, if not 2 of them. He might even get... he might get all 3. Those they're kind of having some pathfinding issues, so maybe he'll only get the 2. And Colossi are inbound. There are 4 crabs, 5, almost 6 crabs for defense. There goes the nuke right on top of that fat boy. Kaboom! Annihilates that thing. That was very entertaining to watch and very devastating for that fat boy. That was a direct impact kill. And at 50 minutes on the clock, this game is over for Team 2. He's lost his, his nuke. Teleporter has been started for him because why not? Lots of mass on the field to scoop up. Currently sitting overall at 232,000 mass on the field. And Ivan's like, I gotta move. I don't want to be shot by artillery. But like I said, at this point, it's not really going to matter. Oh, there goes all of his engineers. He's going to send more over to this. He still has to build the laser. And he just control K's anyways. He's like, I can't. I'm not going to be able to do it. And that is the game, folks. 50 minutes, 59 seconds. Oh, come on. You could have lasted one more second, Ivan, so I can add a perfect 51 minute. But that's okay. Anyways, let me know down in the comments who you felt deserved the award of MVP for this game. I think the player that had the most impact on the game was probably Starchasm. I mean, he built the artillery with some assistance from Pempu and, of course, Jay. I still can't pronounce his name. I mean, his nuke wasn't really that important. Having air control definitely helped out his team in the mid to late game. And then, of course, we had Jay pumping out crabs. I feel like Jay could have sent those crabs in sooner and not necessarily ended the game, but at least could have made it a lot easier. Earlier on, it probably been like a 40-something minute game instead of a 51-minute game. But I think Starchasm deserves the MVP award for this game. I'm not a huge fan of artillery all the time. I mean, it's part of the game. It's just a thing. But, you just got to use what you got. And sometimes it devolves into artillery, and Team 2 just didn't have enough shielding or wasn't able to take out any of the artillery on Team 1. I don't see a lot of AA defenses, to be fair. So those strap bombers maybe could have actually gone after the artillery instead. I'm looking for any AA emplacements anywhere. I don't see. Those are all some E storages. Of course, Team 1 did have the air advantage, but you may have been able to squeak in a couple of bombs. Probably go after this clump right here. But I don't know if it would have worked. But thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Again, if you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Share this video with anyone, everyone, and especially your pets. And I will see all of you in the next one.